All right. So boom, it's a new week. Guys, welcome, welcome. Thank you for making it to the webinar. We're gonna get straight to it. All right. So we've been paying diligent attention to gold. This ain't nothing new, but we could definitely say that this market has been consistent with Sunday opportunities. Now, before we actually consider getting in, it's a couple of things we need to talk about. First, let's start off with how these markets have been behaving every Sunday leading up to today. All right. So, as we have already talked about it a few times, since the beginning of September, we would notice that the market by Sunday, Monday, we'll notice that even if by Monday, by London session, right? Sunday night, price pulls back. Still by New York, by 9 a.m. New York, by the time you wake up, it's either you was in this joint, and if you're not, you're already like 500, 600 pips um, behind. And so since that had been happening, we had to adjust our strategies. Typically, Sundays was in the day where I get in position, but as we had said, we've been noticing that has been a reoccurring theme. So here's why it's very important to pay attention to changes in these markets. It gives us an opportunity to make a judgment call whether we should start pivoting and adjusting to the environment. So, one thing I do notice though is when the market does give us an opportunity for entry on Sundays, it could be all the way, the market could be giving us place all week, but wherever it was at on a Sunday, they seem to respect it and not come back near Sunday's price action, which allows us to actually swing trade. All right. That's one of the things that I've noticed that was very, very particular. And it brings an advantage for us to make considerations about entries. All right. So notice since September the 1st, we'll notice that price will go up Tuesday, Wednesday, pull back out the week, but it was never back here. All right. So now let's move on to the next week. What is entry? Entry is when you enter a position, right? When you enter a position, that's your entry, right? So we're doing a quick back test just to show how consistent price has been with certain behaviors. All right. Now, going into the next following weeks, you'll notice the same behavior. Friday, September 5th, Sunday, bull Monday, September 8th. Price takes off, pulls back Tuesday, Wednesday. Did price ever come back to Sunday's low, guys? No, it did not. All right. So that's how I've been able to see opportunities for swings. And because of the pattern I've been noticing, I'm like, you know what? Okay, boom. If I enter on Sunday, it gives me more of a chance to know that this position, if we use the right route, we'll still be able to actually control the position and not be too scared because um it's a moderate risk that we're taking. All right. So going into Friday the 19th, Sunday the 21st, every single time you'll notice that the market opened on a Sunday like today, it was very unlikely that they pulled all the way back into Sunday's price action. You guys noticing that? Hopefully, I'm sharing the screen. Okay, the right screen is here. All right. So, this is when I started picking up that Sunday entries actually are very beneficial with today's market with gold. I'm not talking about nothing else. I'm saying with gold, it's been a consistent thing that I notice. If you're in some positions by at least 9 p.m. Eastern, you have a very high chance of being part of the early entries for swings. All right. Now, boom, look at this. Sunday, 960 pips from Sunday up until Tuesday morning. So that's the second part. By the time you enter this position, ain't no way by Tuesday you won't already be deep in profit. Going into the next Sunday, the 28th of September, entries right here. Price pull back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. By Thursday, whether if you was in this position around 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern, fact is, you'd still be in profit by the end of the week, no matter these crazy 1,000 pip pullbacks that gold has been given as well. All right. So this is why I came across this as like an edge for us to take advantage of. All right. So I just want to say welcome to everybody that's just coming in. We started right on time just to take advantage of the moment. I just want to ask y'all, did everybody fund their account already? Do we have capital to start trading? All right. If you do, say yes. If you don't, you can say no, not yet. Blah 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 blah. Just so I can know. All right. Boom, boom. Perfect. 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 So what I'm doing right now is I'm just showing you guys proof of what we've been noticing, just so we can be on the same page of things that we've seen that's kind of been making me comfortable to make decisions out of what we want to accomplish here. All right. So we already just talked about this, right? Positions, why it's important for Sundays now to be considered as your entry day. You guys see why it's important for Sundays to be a good entry day, correct? October 12th.
Yes, sir.
Sunday, October 12th. Market opened by 9 p.m. They was up. 13th, the next day. Let me show you guys something. I opened the position here with just $250 on an account. By the time Monday evening by 8 p.m., 12 hours later, I was up 1,400 pips. Price never looked back at Sunday's price action to say to ask it if it's doing good. It just kept on going. And that was last week. So leading up until the end of this week, end of last week, the only time that there was this turbulence was when price finally decided to retrace. And this was Friday. We was anticipating it to happen on Thursday. It did a little bit, pushed up, and they failed to create a new high above that Thursday high right here. So on Friday, we all were talking about the price action. Shout out to Lisa. She was like, I don't know. Looks like price might be pulling back in for the day. We all kind of had the same sentiment. And sure enough, price did retrace, which has given us an opportunity to see what this new week is looking like. Okay. Are we all on the same page right now? Before we continue. Cool, cool, cool. So now it's a new week. First thing we got to do is look at the price action and the floor that is created. I'm in and out, but yes. Okay, blah. So for me right now, price action still kind of looks iffy, right? But what do we have? We have Friday's low right here. And the market just opened right here. I'm on the 1 hour time frame. So Thursday's low was right here. Wednesday's low was right here. So we can call this an order block. We could definitely say this is a floor for now. Okay. It is only 7:12 p.m. Here's what I would like to see for us to actually consider taking a position, just to see if price is still sticking to this behavior. This behavior, um, this behavior, just like it's been doing these past couple of weeks. Give me 1 second, guys. So, how many people here trade futures? Okay. So, what we're talking about right now is not about futures for swings, but if you have a personal trading account, I want you guys to pay attention to this. I purposely was asking who would like to make an extra 1,000 to 10,000. That was just to get your attention. That's number one. Number two is, how do we go about risking like a $300,000, $500,000 account in the midst of a market where it keeps creating new highs? First thing we got to do is understand how far we have to put our stop loss. All right. The first risk that we have to consider is the percentage of the account. If we were to put a 0.01 where price action is at right now, stop loss under the weekly low would be about 500 pips, which is outrageous. Right? Even if we were to put the stop loss right here under this low, that'd still be about 340 pips, right? And nobody really wants to consider that just yet. So how would we go about entering this trade, no matter the risk? Even with a 0.01, the stop loss will have to be placed below the weekly low. But to be safe, it would make everybody here comfortable if we could see what? A break and retest. A break and retest, or by London of the session, seeing that price is still respecting Friday's low, Thursday's low, would mean that this demand zone is something that we could trust. All right, now looking at price action here, we're seeing this W pattern. Price is pulling in from Friday's afternoon low. The ideal entry, at least a 0.01 right here, would make sense. I want you guys to understand something though. Bring it here. Let me see. You won't be able to survive the swing if you're not ready to see at least a 7 to 8% drawdown on maybe two positions or one position. All right. We've been noticing that gold, in order to even be comfortable with placing the stop loss, it has to be at least 200 pips, 300 pips right now. But the most important thing is, where are we placing the stop loss based on structure? So that's why this area right here, where 42.40 currently, I pay attention to this area before we get into any type of position just yet. All right. Like I've said, by around 8:30, 9 p.m., price typically gives us enough candles to make this decision for buys. We're going to keep that right there. All right, I didn't say get in just yet, but we're just going to keep that statement right there. We're going to go straight into Forex Factory just to see what type of fundamental news we are anticipating this week. Y'all know the government's still shut down, right?
Yes.
That's an issue because typically fundamental news would help us to know like what to anticipate. Nowadays, the only fundamental news um, catalyst is Trump. Uncertainty in Trump is basically the fundamental news these days, right? Um, Now, ideally, tomorrow there wasn't even much impact news to begin with. Tuesday, not much impact news to begin with. Neither is Wednesday. We got crude oil inventories. We got uh, CPI for Great Britain pound. It's not much U.S. news this week so far on the calendar, except for this Friday, October 24th. Crazy. October 24th. Wow. Core CPI on Friday. Interesting. That's wild to me. I might even want to refresh this page how wild this looks. A core CPI on a Friday. Wow. All right. So we don't even know for sure if that news is going to create impact because of the government shutdown. Because I believe last week, uh no, no. Last month, um, interest rates came out. That's when the market had the most volume. The week after this week, we have FOMC. Now, the interesting thing about FOMC next week is that I am grateful that the Feds, the FOMC, Federal Reserve, is not shut down because it is independent of the U.S. government. Right? It's independent of the U.S. government. So if you're wondering if we're going to have a FOMC next week, yes, we are. And I noticed that a few people also still don't know the difference with the real FOMC versus when you see FOMC member so and so speaks. The only time there's going to be heavy impact during FOMC is when there's the federal funds rate announcement. Okay, guys? FOMC statement, FOMC federal funds rate. That's when they come in and they tell you where we're headed with interest rates for the quarter. There's a reason why I'm saying this. Most of us are not even position traders. Most of us are either scalpers or intraday traders. I'm here to tell you the last time that Jerome Powell stepped foot to say good afternoon, price was right here. Price was right here. And the first thing that they did was they took out 4-hour highs in the beginning of the session by 2 p.m. They pulled back in. And by Thursday night / Friday, they started buying. But guys, here's something I honestly did not um, factor in. Notice that after price swept liquidity to the upside and made a floor by Thursday, Friday, 36.54. Let's call it 36.54 to where price is at now. We're almost about, if not, I think, we're exactly a month from the last FOMC, 28 days. And look how many pips price has moved. Can y'all see how many pips prices move? Or let's say how many points. Y'all see how many points prices moved since they called out the interest rate to be lower than what it was? 731 points. Gold went from 36.53 to the highest that it was on Thursday, 43.74. Why am I saying this? I believe the next time we have our FOMC, I'm really hoping for a correction. And then the next day, by Thursday night slash Friday, we could get a nice higher low entry. Let's say, for example, let me just play this scenario here. Like, I'm honestly looking forward to see if FOMC would correct price back to, I don't know, 4,000 or something. And I actually want us to be in position to hold a swing until the next FOMC. I believe because interest rates came out less, just like they've been anticipated it, if we get in position on, let's say, a Friday morning or a Thursday night, 2 days after FOMC or one business day after FOMC and hold for a whole entire month, we just might catch another 750-point rally in a month, conservatively. What do y'all think about that? Because these fundamental decisions, they don't just last for a day. They last for like a quarter. They last for 30 days. They last for several weeks because that decision is still going to factor in. It's going to price in further proving that gold is the safest haven for any currencies right now in central banks. So the impact of them once again decreasing interest rates, especially since the government is still shut down, I believe is going to be a catalyst to move price another 750 points, reaching close to maybe 4,750 within the next 30 days. How do you guys feel about this? Let me
I
know.
feel like that would be a dream. Like my account is so ready.
Yeah, I'm really keeping that in the back of my mind because the only thing that stopped me personally from entering a swing for that long was the way they just pushed up, pulled back down. I'm like, damn, I can't spot where they would create the low. And by the time I woke up Friday morning, I got in some buys, but I wasn't quite ready to think, a day or two after FOMC, um, these results is telling me I should hold positions for a whole entire month. I wasn't quite ready to think that way, and I didn't even expect gold to go this high for so long. But now that I've seen what um all of these factors are contributing to, one, government is still shut down. Two, tariffs are back. So that's already two factors of uncertainty. Three, um, it is still the fourth quarter, and during the fourth quarter, gold loves to rally. Four, central banks everywhere are literally transitioning to this period of all digital assets that's being implemented, and not everybody is fully on board. And they're also, I believe it is within the United States plan to back the dollar digitally by Bitcoin and gold.
I think the plan is to absolve our debt by putting it in the crypto,
Yes.
national debt.
Me,
Right.
I also think too,
we all know that by November 22nd, everything gonna change to ISO 2022. I think because people not really know what is gonna be yet, I think everybody gonna try to buy gold, make it go more higher.
Yes, bro. Very good point. Very good point. So
Speculation causing panic buying and possibly panic selling.
that's yeah, bro. I was just about to say. So if we at some point, um, first of all, by next Wednesday, yeah, we should not be trading FOMC. We just want to wait and see by the afternoon if price repeats the same pattern. They're gonna give that 2 p.m. rally. Where is it? Where is it? Hold on, let me go to this analysis right here because I have yeah, they might give that rally, right? Pull back in. But my goal is if I catch a higher low, I'm gonna make sure we all know it's time to get in for buys long term. All right. So start preparing yourselves mentally. Just keep that thought in the back of your mind because the reason why I'm saying this is if this is what the behavior is going to be, we'll have time every Sunday to add in a moderate to conservative, reasonable position because we know those accounts will be swing trading positions like a stock. And 740 points is a lot of pips, man. That's 7,000 pips.
Lot of money with one lot.
Mm-hmm. With just a lot, which obviously no account with $300 can sustain.
Yeah.
Even if you got a 1 to 1,000, you can scale up to $1.50. You can scale up to 60 cents with a small account. You can scale up to 40 cents, 0.01. Another Sunday comes in, 0.01, 0.01. By the time 4 weeks done went through, man, we sitting here pretty. Let me give you guys the perspective on a calculative standpoint. 7,000 times 40 cents on a small account is $2,800. You guys hear me?
Absolutely.
Is this mic still on?
We hear you.
Sir.
With just a small account.
Good
Not being
experience.
hasty, not being greedy, sticking to the plan. With just 40 cents. If somebody has 500 or you starting to get it, you're like, oh, damn, that means every other week I could probably just add more capital to this account just so we can scale in conservatively. The problem with a lot of blown accounts is not that we don't know better. It's because at times we scaled in on the wrong day
Yeah,
or
that's
we
true.
scaled in aggressively at the wrong time.
True, true.
So what if we scaled in a little more conservatively or moderately? That would give us time to make the right decisions and sustain whatever drawdown, but whatever situation that you've seen in present day won't be a factor a few days, a few weeks from that position. Remember, I mentioned that, guys, last week. You know, because there's been Thursdays and Fridays where literally this market done pulled back 1,000, 1,300 pips, and I'm like, can't nobody stomach that unless you were already in position like days prior, Sunday. Okay, so we understand the fundamentals. That's cool. The technicals is great as well, but the entry strategy, the days to avoid for entry are just as important. What days have we been noticing aren't really the best for adding strong positions? What days have we noticed?
Fridays. Oh my God,
Yeah.
Fridays.
Yeah.
I
What
see
other days?
Mondays.
No, Mondays are pretty good now. With
Nah, Wednesdays, bro.
yeah, I would say Thursdays, to be honest.
Thursday. Well, Wednesday going into Thursday. Wednesday morning,
Yeah.
good.
Good evening,
I'm
du jour. Hey,
I'm also speaking from
can
a
can we can we
NASDAQ.
put some fire in the chat for Mr. Withdrawal Friday, real quick? Du jour came back hard, y'all. You remember that? Oh, you remember the webinar we had last week? And then he had just kept it transparent with us and was like, "Yo, I took 250 or whatever to 2,800, and I blew it, but I'm a bounce back." Well, not only did this man bounce back, but he took 250 again to, I believe, 2,500, and he withdrew a band. A band is sitting in that man bank account right now. Put some fire on the chat for this man.
And so,
We getting paid. Hold on, Harold. We acknowledging the man that made profit, withdrew,
We
and
gonna
secured
bounce
the bag.
back. We gonna bounce back.
We gonna bounce back. Hey, he bring that shit back to 2004. At the same time, I want to acknowledge a couple people tonight
Thank you, Hans.
who've been put. Yeah, you welcome, bro. Thank you for listening. It's a couple people that have been really working hard. I want to shout out Christine. Been putting a whole lot of work on the back end. Please put some fire in the chat for Christine. It's a couple more people I want to acknowledge. You guys have been putting in so much work. Not that everybody else hasn't. It's just that there's been a lot more progress and a lot more data that's actually going from bank account going from trading account to bank account. And that was the goal for this year. All right. And with that, I want to acknowledge Natish. Natish is on his third payout. Third payout from futures. Bro, I'm proud of you, man. Good stuff. Lastly, I'm not sure if she's here. Jaquel is on her third payout from Top Step. So, guys, honestly, these are moments that make me very happy. And I know the more everybody else keeps seeing payouts, withdrawals, it motivates everybody to remember it's not just about the profits. It's about the withdrawals. I see somebody else that's flipped a little account with Bitcoin. I'm waiting to see the screenshot say withdraw as well. Asante Albert, I'm calling you out. We're no longer impressed at profits, bro. Did the profit make it out? You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to see. All right. So
Yes, sir.
I'm keeping man, I'm glad I heard that voice. I forgot. I almost forgot one more person. See Zillion out here passing accounts after accounts.
Yes, sir,
Okay.
bro.
We got some people that are really out here sick and tired of blowing accounts and finally getting their payouts. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. And I hope to keep acknowledging more and more of us.
Man, I hadn't seen a Six Flag guy in years. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. I want to keep seeing these payouts because that's what makes us realize, like, yo, damn. Yeah. I gotta stop
I got
sleeping on
another
myself.
payout last week.
Yeah,
from
and
the
you
fund.
had a payout last week. I'm looking for it. You see, that's why it's important for y'all to post
Yeah,
the payout in the profit section because I'm here looking for it. I can't even find it. I can't even find it. So, guys, I'm very proud of y'all. This makes me very, very, very happy. Okay. Now, hopefully we could get some more payouts by the end of this week, by the end of this month. with these gold rallies, right? Because I know everybody came here. That's what the focus of this webinar is.
Mm.
So now, looking at this price action, we're not ready to get in no positions just yet. This price action is telling us we're probably going to retest one more time. Probably going to retest one more time because this damn near looked like a higher, a lower high that can't even make it past Friday so far. So that's not part of the plan at all, especially for us who are looking to start putting our first position for swings. This is not looking like the price action that we want to see just yet. But if at some point tomorrow we see that price pulls back even deeper into the 4100s or retests the lows of Wednesday, then I believe would be best for us to start getting in around these key areas. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this price action does not look like it's ready for us to get in just yet. Okay, now I think we're all good with gold.
I've asked you how your futures trading was looking.
Yeah, we're gonna transition to futures conversations with YM. Okay. Now, last week, we saw that price was pretty choppy. By Friday, we made it to this low here, which was the low of the week. In fact, they retested the previous week lows as well. Tuesday, October 14th, Sunday, October 12th. And then from here, that's why, like, when I saw price action looking like that, I'm like, what's up, guys? I think price is retesting last week's lows or previous day lows. And then so I took a buy. It was very cautious about the buy because still I was seeing like news from everywhere talking about, oh, Trump is saying stuff about tariffs again. And I'm like, well, goddamn it, why the hell does he have to keep? It's like he's vlogging. Stop telling us what you're doing, man. Just get things done, and then that's it. Like, please. So I saw that price respected the lows of from last Friday. I'm like, let's see if this structure will buy. Mainly seeing this price action bringing in volume next week. All right. So this was around like 9:17 in the morning. So what happened next? What happened next? Let me hit the US 30 chart real quick because I'm more comfortable with that one. After I said that, price struggled. Price pushed. I'm like, all right, let's go. Pull back in. I'm like, like the minions. Minion. Yeah. And I was like, bruh, okay. But by 12 p.m., price still held it down. So I still kept my positions. And when it pushed up, I was like, all right, I'm out because I still don't really like the price action. It's not really strong. But it was good to see that price actually did respect last week's lows. And what does that mean? Like, why is it so important if we were to see on our own personal charts that price taps into last week's low? What does that mean for many people who aren't aware of what would that mean for you? It means if price is respecting the low of a previous week, it has more chances to bounce back, especially with US 30. All right. And once it bounces off of the previous week lows, it tends to push strongly to the upside for at least several hours. So if I saw this in London, for example, I would have taken my chances and I would have put my stop loss outside or below last week's lows to give myself a chance. Whether that has that requires me to put 150 point stop loss, so be it. As long as I could find a safety zone outside of the low of the previous demand, then that's how I'm making my decision for risk. Okay. It's not just about, oh, yeah, I'm not going too far outside. Sometimes I'm like, man, look, I'm going to just have to decrease the risk and increase the breathing room so I can be far away at an area that's very secure and I can still take an attempt to see what happens next. So that's why when price touches last week's lows and it respects it, you might be able to see a good 10 to 12 hours of price action off of that. You know, you can see price bounce and move away from that zone until the end of the session. That's typically what I've noticed, that price when it bounces off the last week lows on a 4 hour time frame, for example, you can expect something like that to happen. You can expect to put your stop loss outside of the previous week lows, and you can expect price within a 12-hour range to move away from price. So how can you wait that long? Some people are wondering. That's why you got to have the risk that doesn't bother you too much for you to be able to go on about your business and then check in a little bit after. Okay. That's why it's important for this type of conversation to be had when I'm over here seeing how possible it would be to hold a position for a month. Something I honestly, I'm close to 3 weeks now with this swing position that I'm in. But this is stuff that I've been struggling with all my life as a trader, holding positions for weeks. But we got to grow. We got to grow. All right. So that's how I'm seeing US 30. I can tell if we get some sort of correction, we might respect it and buy, but I still don't like how price action is right now. Still don't like it. I feel like we need some sort of positive news to for price to actually push up all the way. But so far, with YM/US 30, I would say if price makes it back to these highs and they can't break it, we might see price sell off again. Okay. Now, me personally, I'm kind of staying clear of US 30, not doing too much if I get into a position, because I don't find the price action much convenient. So I can only imagine those of you guys who are only focusing on YM and NASDAQ, y'all been having quite a treacherous set of weeks.
Yeah, speak for my everybody else, but I've been having some pretty green weeks these last few weeks.
You have?
Yeah, I just didn't catch Friday.
Wow.
That 1,100 point drop on Friday. I was so mad. It was turtle soup and everything. I was so pissed.
Damn.
I missed it. I was gonna put contracts on that trade. I once it dropped, it was gone. But yeah, just swipe the highs like we used to. Staying above that accumulation phase. Previous daily high was right there, and it just barely got there. And it was like, nah, we're not doing that today. And then it
Mm,
moved sideways after that, all the way up until our 945 macro. And at that 945 macro, I think we are still moving a little sideways. And then
yeah.
I think we got a tweet, and then it dumped 1,100. It dumped 350 points in the first 5 minutes, and then it dumped another 275 points right after that in the next 5 minute candle. So if you had just stayed in there for 10 minutes, you'd be up 700 points.
Mm,
And then I did see somebody take the trade, a German financier I was talking to. He caught 5 contracts on his Tradeovate account. He did 120K that day. So,
that's
like
good.
I said, I can't speak for everybody else because price action has been pretty ugly these last Wednesday and Thursday. I had the most trouble because price has been moving sideways and then turtle souping, taking the previous daily high and then falling, or it'll take the previous daily high, move sideways, wait for the macro at 945 and then fall. And I'm not necessarily guessing that. I'm taking I'm trying to see what kind of reaction I get at New York Open, and that's been the difficult part about the week, this last week. So
Agreed, 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 agreed. Anybody else want to share like how it's been going for them? I see Lisa say I didn't even trade that day. I took a week off that week. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, that's why I've just been looking at gold. I'll look here this way, and I'm like, I don't know. The only good price action was really Friday, in my opinion. Uh, let me see what else is
Good
this.
has been doing so well. Like,
Where?
I'm
Oh
over
yeah,
the
gold. Yeah. Gold been doing, bro. Gold been doing God's work.
yeah,
After we had got
yeah,
that
that money
dump,
real quick.
Yeah, man.
after we got that dump on Nasdaq, and then we did our new week opening gap back up, and then we took what was that Tuesday? What does that say? I can't. I'm hold on my phone. This is the 14th. I'm assuming around 12 p.m.
14.
That yeah,
Right
that
there. Yeah.
wick going down
Ah,
into the green space. Wick going down into the green space.
yeah.
That is the bottom of
Yeah.
the gap. And I
Yeah.
missed that by about 4 or 5 points. And I was so mad. I was so mad. I was off because I like really, aesthetic entries for screenshots and, even for
True.
my own personal diary. So I have a personal competition with myself to take the best entry possible. And I just wanted the lows swiped. And I missed it by like 10 to 15 points. And I still got in for buys, but I would have had a lot more on my plate if I did take it at the better entry. But that was new week opening gap. And I was like, I know the gap is going to get filled before the week is over. And when it does, it's going to buy off of it very strongly. And that's exactly what it did. And it ran for 2 days, if I'm not mistaken,
Yikes.
or a day and a half. So
Man, that sounds like some trauma stories right there. We all got them. We all
the
got
the
them.
Wix is nasty in Nasdaq. Everybody here knows how nasty them Wix can be.
True
So,
that.
but the trick with Nasdaq for me is one trade a day.
Hmm.
I'm maxing out my risk on these evals, but it's one trade a day. So I'm not going for the 15 or $2,000 loss on your eval. I'm just doing 20 points for two contracts. That's $800 in the negative. But
Mm.
if I get what I want and 50 points, I'm gonna have my $1,500, I think, with Top Step. So I was able to pass Top Step within 2 days because I took aggressiveness with A plus setups.
Beautiful.
So this is going back to what Hans was saying about applying pressure and knowing when to scale in and when not to scale in because it could be really bad PA day for US 30, NASDAQ, or even gold. And we're just moving sideways. But you scaled in for four contracts or I'm sorry, for others, four lots and you're in really deep, but it's moving sideways and it's just playing with your entry. It says, break even, 200 negative, 300 negative, back to break even, just 150 in profit, back down to zero. So you're dealing with that. And then price does what it did that Friday and drops 1,100 points. So it's been a little nerve wracking dealing with that accumulation phase is what I've been calling it because we've been manipulating out of it to give us those drops.
Yeah.
And that major drop was a tweet, by the way, from the president. As
Hmm.
soon as he said something negative about China tariffs, we dropped 1,100 points off of a tweet. I think it was off of Truth Social. It wasn't even a tweet. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
wasn't even
we
a
were
tweet. It's just true social.
we're dealing with him right now. And the
He's
last
the
time we dealt with him, we were
he's
dealing with what Nasdaq hitting 24,000 and then him tweeting and then it fell down, or was it Dow Jones or something? He said this is the highest the Dow Jones has ever been. He tweeted it before Elon bought Twitter, and it dropped like 500 to 600 points back then, and that was during his first term. So we're still dealing with that kind of stuff, but the
certainty.
problem, yeah, and then you're dealing with first quarter. First quarter was nothing but tariff sideways PA. It was really bad. We started gaining some momentum right after the summer, back to school shopping, all that good stuff, Labor Day, bank holidays, no government shutdown yet, passing bills. When a Republican president is doing well in his agenda, quote unquote, well, where this is an opinion based, this is support based. So if his numbers are well, then we tend to have better business numbers for things like Nasdaq, Nvidia, Tesla. They tend to do better. So I guess people believe in the market when the president is getting the things he wants done. Because when Obama was in office, we had a lot of sideways PA. Maybe people had better PA than others, but I believe that we were moving sideways with a Democratic president dealing with a Republican Congress and couldn't get anything passed but the Medicaid stuff.
I see.
So yeah, so now we're dealing with, mixing politics in, but if you have to, when he's tweeting and he's telling you tariffs are going to happen, that's political, and the next thing you know, US 30's in the toilet because
Right.
that's where half our products come from.
True.
So I'm trying to catch the shorts. So it's but
All
yeah,
in
that's my little
all, I'm
spiel.
trying to catch the shorts. It's
But
tough.
but didn't he do that right after he realized he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, and then all of a sudden he got mad and then he tweeted. That's exactly what he did.
Oh, really? I had no
Right.
clue.
He didn't get that Nobel Peace Prize, and then he came back and started messing with China. And next thing we knew, the market fell. It was like, what in the world just happened?
Really? I gotta look into that. I did not hear
It's
about that. That's
real
crazy.
time manipulation.
All that is manipulation for real.
It really is, because how many people are in buys
Yeah,
for all time highs,
right. But
and they're getting
guys,
attacked every
we
time.
are technical analysts at the end of the day. And the best time for a good retracement entry usually is around 12 to 2 p.m. Has anybody noticed that? Because I've been calling it for a while. Them 12:30 entries, they are usually my bread and butter because after the first hour and a half of price action liquidity sweep, sometimes I ain't catch it in time. But 12:30, the pullback, the floor already been set. I already know from 12 to 2, at least that trade attempt is a go. So that's why like sometimes I'll just prime example. I know this might seem like some cherry pick, but I don't trade Nas. But Tuesday, October 14th, after price did the sweeping pullback right here. Oh, I'm sorry. By 12 p.m., this would have been more of an entry for me with just a 100-point stop loss. I wouldn't even need to really do that, but at least this would be safe for me. And sure enough, price did push by 1:32 p.m. I'd be out. Wednesday, 10, 11, boom, 12:30, 1 p.m. Notice how price did fall sharply into the previous day's low. But this reversal right here, entry, stop loss, about 100 points, boom, I'm pushing it till 2. These are usually the easiest for me for real, without having to anticipate the sweep or whatever price is going to do. I give that price 1 hour or 1 hour and a half by 12, 12:30. I'm looking to see if there's any break and retest. All right. So Friday, October 17th, just a few days ago, same thing. Price pushed, pulled back, retested the pre-market lows or the market open, 9:30. That'd be my favorite too. Oh, you coming back to retest 9:30? Perfect. Get in. Stop loss is probably going to be shorter because it just retested 9:30's low. Good 75 points will do for me. And that's usually when I take a really nice buy position for just an hour or two. And we good. We good to go. So in the midst of a lot of manipulation, if you come across these setups by the afternoon between 12 to 2, I think those are usually the safest, calmest ones. All right. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right. Now, for the people who trade the JPYs, I can't let you down. I gotta speak on it. Right. Now, Euro JPY. Euro JPY. Dang it. I thought I was writing it in here and I wrote it on chat. Euro JPY. Okay, where we at? Let's go to the daily time frame. Oh, I see you, Rich. So last week, me and Rich was talking about Euro JPY, just conversations with him because he trades JPYs. He was spotting a potential reversal off the daily / 4 hour just because of this price level here. We saw that end of September. We had this area as a supply zone, resistance. They came back here October 5th, And there was a huge gap right here, which honestly, these are always misleading. Like all this right here, they typically don't end up filling them, but how they do fill them is with recent price action that you can see, because that's usually where retail gets filled. All this right here sometimes gets ignored. And so, boom, now that we made it to 4 hour low from last week or a few weeks ago, Friday got tapped. I believe you're in some of those positions right here, right, Rich? And yeah, it definitely looks like we are on our way to push back up with Euro JPY. So good stuff, bro. AUD JPY, same thing. It looks like they just swept the 4 hour lows instead, and they're on their way to the upside. So let me see. Position around 96, already up 129.30 pips. Are you in these trades still, bro? Or are you in these buys?
No, I got out myself. I didn't get in the buy yet because
Okay.
yeah, that talk that we had, I was like, oh, a little hesitant
Yeah, I feel you. I
because
feel you.
I didn't get in the buy yet. I have to wait.
Yeah. At least now we got a reaction and a retracement. You should be in that buy whenever it's time. All right. All right. So, mhm. so, um, this is currently what we're looking at. Let's check out the Japanese yen. Uh, Kita said, "We in now." We in now. Okay, so let's see why the JPYs are buying now, right? We can tell this gap area just kind of got touched. It got wicked. And so since the Japanese yen index is going down, then it would make sense why Euro JPY and USD JPY, AUD JPY is going up finally. So boom, USD JPY. Let's go to that 15 real quick. So Friday, London is where price created this low. Interesting. Interesting. And then boom, Friday, market just opened. Yeah. So this is the structure you need to worry about if you're taking trades for USD JPY and such. Okay. Where can it go? I would just give it days if we're swing trading this. All right, just give it days, but obviously the recent high was 153. If the Japanese yen keeps falling, then you might see a lot of pips from there. This is practically a higher low that was created right here. So good luck on the JPYs, bro. Okay. Now let's return back to gold real quick. Let's see where we at. Okay, it is now 8 p.m. Prices pulled back in this area. I think this area deserves an entry at least. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull out our phones. Let's put in a moderate position on the 42.
Jobs, and you must keep doing what you're doing. You are so smooth and so natural in what you do. You're not even reading from a script. You're reading from the spirit. And that's a wonderful thing because every time, this is my second time hearing you, and I am just so on top of all of this that I'm coming in as a member. I already have the 500, but I'm going to get, I want to get that 1,000. You understand? Because I love numbers. And it's not about being greedy. You know, are you getting that I can get?
Dan, am I meant to hear that?
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. All right. So this first attempt, I'm gonna make sure my stop loss is below 42.13, just in case gold decides to do decides to, do different things. But a point zero 0.01 for buys is what we're getting into with the stop loss below 42.10. All right. 42.10. 42.10 stop loss. 42.10 stop loss. That's pretty far enough. Yeah, I'd say 42.10 is good. Okay. By London is usually when I check to see if like are we actually buying or not. So okay, so as we just said, trying the first attempt at 42.40 where it's at right now. Stop loss below Friday's lows around like 42.10. If at some point price pulls back a little deeper in, that's fine. But what we're not gonna do is just like not make an attempt when price is still pretty much respecting the structure here. Right? Keep in mind, be conservative. Be conservative. By 9:30 or so, um, I'll check in and see like where we at. Because as I said, this is an attempt. Meaning, like, if I see prices freaking selling off to 4,000, I'm like, well, that was a good attempt. We'll just wait a little bit more. All right. As we know, the markets are never perfect. Sometimes an attempt might not work well, and then we have to recalibrate and think about it. Because personally, even if I'm looking at this price action here, it might not work out in our favor. And if you guys don't feel like, Hans, I'll wait till tomorrow, that's fine too. That's fine too, because price action is still very much in its early stages. All right, guys.
Hey, I'm liking this gold play, man. I've been looking since market opened today. I was
Mm-hmm.
looking at the weekly chart for gold, and I was trying to see what the deepest retracement has looked like per week. And it looks like maybe that was last week that did a deep retracement of like maybe $25 deep into the previous week gold.
Mm,
So where we at now, I think it's a great entry. I think $15 would be 35, 42.35. So if it goes down any lower than that, we should see it continue to go up from there. Investors are actually I saw a comment on TradingView that said investors are actually comfortable with the $5,000 range on
yeah.
their cards. So
Mm.
I'm totally open for that. Run this up all the way to 5,000. That would be super helpful.
Oh yeah, bro. Helpful is the right word right there. Helpful is the right word. Yeah, so we'll see how price behaves, man. Um, but at each instance, I want y'all to please hear me out when I say this. Don't get mad if a stop loss get hit and you just add three more positions, even if it's a point zero one. Okay? Scaling in aggressively at the wrong time is just three times the risk that you can't afford. You guys hear me?
Yep, yep. We hear you, bro.
Yeah. About a week and a half ago, um, I was in buys from here, October the 8th, and completely forgot Thursdays could have a 9:30 reversal when they pushed back. I thought we would stay right here. They started bouncing. I'm like, okay, we good. Retest, we'll buy again. John sold another 600 pips, and I took a chunky loss. And right here, I was adding mad positions. I was adding some more positions, thinking like, okay, this is my redemption for a retracement, and it dumped even more. So what I took as a lesson was like, yeah, maybe I should have scaled in a little less aggressively, not just because, oh, it's, this is giving me opportunity for more entries when I started peeping that Sundays and Mondays are like better, not a Thursday. So, we learn the hard way sometimes, right? But
Yeah,
hey, at least we learn. At least we learn. Okay. So I'm gonna leave you guys right here with it. Um, Anybody got any questions? We're gonna keep an eye out, but this is a new week. Let's be careful. We got a whole week ahead of us um to continue with our goal. Give it a little time just to process some thoughts in the meantime.
like 0.20. What was I thinking of?
This was last week's price action, Friday, October 10th, Sunday, 8 p.m. A break and retest here by 9:30, and then a little bit of a consolidation, but hours later into the session that followed, price still moved gradually. But at least last week we saw a break and retest. This week so far, we just have price action here that's kind of looking like it needs to just respect and give us some more information. So that's why, like, by London, maybe we'll see what happens. And then from there, we can decide, all right, should we add another position? No, let's wait, or let's just see about a break and retest because maybe prices still not done retracing. Maybe prices still not done coming back to cheaper prices. And so if we force it, we won't have enough capital left to re-enter when price is ready to run. You know? You're gonna put an alarm right here just in case price touches 42.10 so I could be aware. What we would need if price would buy would be a large volume to just going back around. But I wouldn't be surprised if we can't handle this level and we just like sweep or do whatever. But we'll have by like tomorrow to just make a decision on re-entering. All right. Let me see. It's pulling back pretty fast. Okay.
Also, in my opinion, when it moves fast like that, those are impulse moves that I like to
Mm-hmm.
watch or be in. And
Mm-hmm.
then I get out with a scalp, or I just wait for it to stop moving as fast as it is because I know that it's going for liquidity if it's moving that fast
Correct.
at the
Correct.
right time, specific times though.
True. True. True that. True that. Yeah. Keeping an eye on Friday's low right here. You guys can hear me pretty well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Man. That's why, like, even if I do get hit, or if we do get hit with a stop loss triggered, at least sometimes what I like to wait next on is the break and retest. Let's say I couldn't tell what was going on, but if the price breaks above that previous high and pulls back in, then I'll re-enter. You know, so ain't nothing wrong with a first attempt where maybe the stop loss gets hit. At least we got to just wait on better conditions and more confirmation.
Yes.
All right. Okay. That's all I have for you guys. Let's have a phenomenal week. Much love, and let's stay locked in. You know where to find me: Discord, uh, Telegram. Let's keep it pushing. All right, guys. Have a good night or good morning wherever you are in the world.
Thanks, Hans.
All right. Recording will be
Good night,
available.
bro. Thanks for
Good night.
coming up.
Thanks, Hans.
No problem.